Welcome everybody to the Daily High with your host Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. Tone's still in the woods. I'm still in Japan. Everything's good, except the price of Bitcoin. Let's try and keep this show
Sure, my
brief
bad.
today. Everything we good and go. Everything is about the same price, if not a slightly lower than it was yesterday when we did the show. So the only thing to really talk about is the fact of Tone's 10 a.m. reversal, which was very interesting. That the shoot up that we had. But the fact that it's come back down lower to the point we were at yesterday, everything that we said in yesterday's show still applies today. So I don't feel like drawing this show out too long. We'll smash through it and then I take it from there. Tone, why don't we go and through that 10 a.m. reversal? That was the most interesting thing that happened in the last 24 hours. The response that we had off it and then the correction that we've had since.
Yeah,
I know
that
you've got
sounds good. Let me
issues.
uh let me jump right into screen share, and we are gonna go to that short term time frame, and we go from there. So, man, it's so disappointing what's happening right now. We're gonna talk about what's happening now, but let's talk about yesterday. So I'm gonna try to line them up right here. So yeah, I was using 1 minute candles, but for simplicity, we're gonna stick to 5 minute candles. So on a 5 minute scale, I was able to identify the 10 a.m. reversal, and right here at exactly 9:57 a.m. Is where I said I would go long on a trade. And then a little later, I would have said, hey, it's time to maybe double down or a little bit higher than that. The market pretty much took off from that point. Same thing with Bitcoin. Right here on the secondary low, this secondary low candle was at 10. The 10:25 a.m. candle makes the low. And right here in Bitcoin, that is, did I line that up correctly? Um, Sorry, that's 10:25. This is the 9:50. Yeah, no, right here. And Bitcoin and S&P reverse right here. So it was like the 1 minute candle, not the 5 minute candles. So on a 1 minute candle, Bitcoin and S&P reversed on the same minute. It was right here at the 9:55 a.m. candle. This secondary low on a 1 minute candle was very, very clear, and that's the same exact low in Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't go up as quickly. It challenged these lows one more time after noon, but it did not break the swing low. It did not create a new lower close. The S&P did not even come close to these lows, and the S&P ended up going up over 70 points. That is insane. Back in the day when I used to trade this strategy, not once have I ever seen the S&P go up 70 points off the 10 a.m. reversal. Now, I will say that back then the S&P was half as valued, right? So 70 points today would have been like 20, 35 points back then. So 35 points back then I have seen. So I have seen higher moves by percentage that I've been a part in, but you don't make money by percentage when you trade futures. In futures, I mean, you could take on a bigger, more contracts, but in general, if I was trading S&P futures today, I would trade the same exact size as I traded, 10 years ago. So I would still be looking for I mean, maybe I would trade a little bit more in size, but I wouldn't trade double the size. Like back then, I was trading 4 to 6 futures contracts. I wouldn't be trading like 12 to 20 futures contracts today. I'm not like I don't want $8,000, $9,000 swings in a matter of 30 minutes. That's not my style. So I would still be trading, looking for a 10 to 20 point move, and I'm happy. And this went pretty much straight up. And at the time, yesterday late afternoon, when the stock market was closing, everything was looking absolutely awesome. Now the stock market is still at the highs, and yet Bitcoin is getting absolutely crushed, which is really, really strange. I mean, they both rallied at exactly the same time. Like if I line them up, like here is the S&P, and this is where it all starts. And if I line up Bitcoin the same way, here's where Bitcoin starts right here. So these areas, these or yellow arrows are lined up completely, and the S&P is right at the high. If I extend this, literally about to break the high, and yet the Bitcoin market is in the gutter. This is very, very strange to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And to me, it just means like there is still a lot of selling in Bitcoin specifically. Liquidity is drying up, but this liquidity is going to go away. There's only so many sellers of Bitcoin out there. Eventually, this will go up with a vengeance, but what does it mean for right now? This was great, but if I was in the S&P long trade, eventually I'm taking profit, but at no point am I scared. I don't hold S&P futures overnight, but right now, we are bullish as hell. This is not my trading zone. In fact, I would be looking for a potential short trade. I don't trade the MRI on 5-minute charts, especially on the S&P. But man, what a beautiful textbook MRI. I mean, we have an MRI top. This is probably market open. Oh no, this is economic news announcements. Beautiful MRI buy opportunity at 9 a.m. Not a trading time I would ever trade. And now we held the MRI support line. We're rallying into an MRI top. We're rallying into 10 a.m. We're going to hit an MRI top on a 5-minute at 10 a.m. So this is one of those situations where if we are rallying into 10 a.m., with more than a 10-point move, and this is already a 10-point move, this is where I'm looking to short. I'm looking to time the 10 a.m. reversal from a top to a bottom, which really sucks for Bitcoin. And right now on a 5-minute chart, Bitcoin is rallying. So now we're going to go up into the higher time frames. The weekly chart is right at support. So I'm going to stay patient. The 4-day chart, this is where my patience is ending. We still have 2 days. I am into a 24-hour hope and pray strategy that other time frames hold up the price of Bitcoin. But if I was trading the 4-day in isolation, this would already warrant a 50% reduction in allocation. And very likely when we do the show tomorrow morning, there's already going to be a 50% allocation marker right here. I'm just between the S&P rising and between us sitting on the 128 day and us sitting on the 50-week moving average. These are good areas of support. We are on a red star candle on the daily. This is very disappointing. I really hoped yesterday's candle would close as green. It may still even have a green tone-based volume spike. Everything about yesterday's candle screamed reversal, and today I don't I don't know what the hell's happening today. I'm gonna give it at least 6 more hours to, maybe it was stop hunting, maybe too many people went long. For whatever reason, I'm still applying the hope and pray strategy that we have a reversal between the MRI buy that took place 2 days ago, between yesterday's reversal candle, and this is just some pre-market and overnight stupidity. And I still think there is a chance, a decent chance, the reversal is coming today, literally today. Like yesterday, I would have said within 48 hours. Today, we're down to 24 hours. So we have 24 hours to reverse this. But if we end up closing today's candle below the 128-day moving average, it's time to throw in the towel and it's time to look for significantly lower lows. This is literally Bitcoin's last stand at this price. Otherwise, we're probably going sub 60K. I basically I hate all the charts. Right here, maybe there is some divergence. We can hope. Well, there's definitely divergence. We just need the price reversal. You can see divergence versus what happened. This is the 1 hour chart. There's divergence all over the hourly chart versus yesterday morning, 24 hours ago. Not in the MACD, but in the CMF. in the RSI, the 4-hour chart, definitely divergence here as well, but the price needs to reverse. Uh, it's yeah, I don't have much else to say, Matt. I'm gonna hand it off to you. Uh, like I would say between all the metrics, it's 55% leaning further lows right now, and all we're clinging to is the moving averages. And it's great that Mark Wood is going to come on at 11 a.m. today, Eastern time. So in about 2 hours or in about 1 hour, I will be on with Mark Wood, and he's the moving average expert. And let's see what he has to say about it. But I think Bitcoin's last stand is right here, and the only thing keeping it alive are moving averages. All right.
Mm,
Questions, comments?
yeah, I think I urge you to zoom out slightly. Can we just look at the weekly for a second and just give it some more candles in range because it's not as bad as it seems. And I think I feel it too. I feel that the market is. I'm not even going to do TA today. We'll just refer to your charts because it's the same thing. I'm looking at this zone right now that we're in as potentially scary, having this double topping failed breakout, and the wave is still red, and it's good when the wave is red because you can, if you're smart, and I haven't been as smart as I should be with my own indicator, but you should just ignore all the noise. Don't get overly bullish when the wave is red. That's the why I built this indicator, and I should have listened to it more probably myself. But I mean, looking at this right now, we put in a low back, in whatever it was, June. We're gonna call it June, like down there, it's 55 or something like that. We're still above that at the moment. This is what I said in yesterday's show. We're still above that low, and you could almost probably squeeze a bull penalty type of Selgin type of um, topping pattern out of this, which I wonder if what the count would be on a Selgin pattern. I'm not really good at with Selgin, which is a, uh, a Tyler Jenks invention as well. Another thing, another great video that has the Selgin. I think you've released that one for free now on the Financial Summit Tone, if I'm not mistaken.
I
I
have, and
urge.
I've been promising to release Consensio, and all right, maybe I'm gonna try to find some time. Maybe I'll do it this week, and we'll do like a screening or something, or maybe on Monday or something.
Well, that sounds terrific because I might even release float for free as well as a double bonus there. If you watch the Selgin video, if you watch the Consensio video, I'll really give it anyone float for free as well. Why not? But I'm just looking at this right now. It does feel terrible, and we are getting knocked back every time we do pump up, and last night was no exception to that. That's typical of that red wave, what tends to happen here. But I'm still looking at that lower low and thinking that, well, we're still higher than that right now, and as long as we stay above that 55, um, we're still good for a great bounce here. The problem is, once we break that 55, if and when we happen to break that 55, and if we do crash down to 48 and whatnot, that should look like technically the world is crashing. But I'm just seeing all of that as a long-term bullish buy the dip. You know what I mean? I have no target for a buy the dip at this point. Anything below now is buy the dip for me because I'm still very, very convinced that in the next 12 months we'll get to $100,000. So I just don't. I'm just not that terrified. The lower we drop, the kind of happier I am at this point. I'm just not as negative as I should be, maybe.
Right, Matt. So the reason why this is bothering me is that there is absolutely no support until you get to $48,000. Like, I don't see any support in the $50,000 range. That's why it's so dangerous to go below 64,000 and start closing there. You have nothing. You have dead air. You have no price support. You have
I
no
I,
moving average
I know,
support. You have
I know,
no
I know.
MRI support. I mean, it's a straight shot. The best you can hope for at that stage is that it's a slow bleed towards 48K. And with the slow bleed, the moving average gets to catch up, and the MRI gets to give you a perfect weekly buy opportunity. Because if it's a straight crash down there, now we're talking, uh, all the way to the next level.
I'm not ready to entertain that because I contest that slightly. I feel like the low that we put in a few weeks ago, or a month or so and a half ago, 2 months ago, is is a line of resistance already because it's very very classical charting to stay above that or below that where it already is. That for me is without moving averages already is resistance. So that 200 for me, if we were to touch that
Yeah,
200
I'm deleting these based on how they're totally irrelevant now. Just
right.
wanted to say
No,
that.
no, no, that's fair. I still see resistance at the lower low, and I still see like a daily green diamond coming in, which is a really oversold conditions. I still see the potential for a 3 day green diamond, which is rare, but they come in occasionally and they're great buying the dip opportunities. And I'm still seeing a long term, a bullish perspective for Bitcoin. So I'm not as concerned but with this is a show about day trading, right? So day trading, yes, it looks terrible. I get it. I get it. I'm with you. That 128-day moving average right there is the line in the sand. It's been very, very good. Um, but I'm just not as pessimistic. I think if we jump $2,000, it's not bearish anymore. So I'm not either. It looks more
We do have the 200-day moving average at
yeah.
57,000, probably above 58,000 by the time the price gets to it. So that is potentially, your only support area in the $50,000 range.
Well,
But
see, I don't see that for me is exactly right. The 200-day moving average plus a higher low than back when we got to that low point previously, plus a daily green diamond, all three things coming in to print a great buy the dip. And then say under that, I'm starting to get nervous. But at that point, I'm quite positive still,
yeah.
especially in a range bound market. All right, that's it. I'm not that concerned, but it's not great.
All right. Yeah, we did say it was going to be a quick show. Uh, yeah, I don't like any of this. We're still okay based on where we are in the cycle. So we talked about that yesterday. Oil is at 80, gold not moving. S&P is just a monster,
Ripping
absolute
monster.
monster, ripping higher. This is that daily chart. I'm gonna switch these back to the daily. Uh, though I am curious on, well, it's almost 10
Green
a.m.
star.
again. Almost
We
10 a.m. again.
might get a green
And
star on the daily again, dude.
nah, the daily is just ripping. It is
Yeah.
extension C. The green star must have just disappeared. It'll come back. And yeah, the S&P is just an absolute monster. Let me delete these. All right. Um, I'm
I
good
wouldn't
from here.
I wouldn't worry.
The Bitcoin mining ETF is at new all-time highs, which is no, sorry, take that back. At new yearly highs, which is still kind of crazy, right? You would think that with the price being so low and miners selling all this Bitcoin, that you would think that the Bitcoin miners would be in more trouble, but they're not. Bitcoin miners are doing very well, including Bitfarms. I'm a little surprised. I had slightly given up on the miners because I didn't think they would outperform, but they've been very nicely outperforming Bitcoin. And yeah, it was if you look at the mining stocks, WGMI, and divide that by the price of Bitcoin, you will see. Uh, let's we can just make it look easier. Multiply it by 1,000. 10,000.
Hmm.
There we go. It's just easier notation. It's out of zero. Beautiful. So you can see how, since the breakout right here, this is a ratio chart. Um, so you can see how miners broke out. This is in June. So since the beginning of June, the miners have outperformed Bitcoin by 35%. That is very surprising to me that the miners have outperformed Bitcoin by 35%. Interesting. Just something to keep in mind. I should probably add this to this miner list. All right. On
All right.
this note, we're gonna get going. Matt, close us out.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. For a market that's crashing and not and basically the same price as it was yesterday, I think we did pull a show off here. I can test another point from you just said before the price of Bitcoin is so low. I don't see this that's it's not that low. It's not. We're still in a pretty good spot. Let's not get carried away. We're 64, $65,000. That's still pretty good when you got in 100,000 bucks. Not bad. So let's relax. It's all right. The world is not falling. We're okay, but it is uncomfortable at this moment. I'll concede that. Please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. Please use the affiliate links in the discount group below, and please join in tomorrow. Let's hope something happens. Let's hope that for a rally. I want to see that feeling again when we're jacked and finally can break through 70,000. I need that. We need that. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
Hi, guys.